All right, y'all. So for a while now, I really wanted to talk about board breakers and specifically going into the next couple of YCSs this week, YCS Bologna and Mexico. But I didn't really want to do kind of like a tier list style of video because, well, one, it's already like very overdone, and second of all, this is the main reason is I don't really think tier listing board breakers makes a lot of sense, simply because board breakers are way too specific on the deck. So if you guys look at your guys in front of your guys' screen, I'm not listing them by A, S, B, C, or whatever. I'm going to list them by the deck, which I think is a lot more valuable for knowing, which deck you're playing and things like that. Now, the downside of this is it doesn't cover all decks, but it does cover the top decks, which I feel like if you're watching my channel, you're playing one of these decks. I find it very hard, very, very hard to believe that you're playing a tier 3 deck and you're subscribed to my channel. That just doesn't make any sense to me. you know but I think this will be very informative because I'll just give you a quick example, like Dark Ruler No More, right? Very strong, popular card this format. You would never play it in Draco Tail, right? So imagine you watching kind of like a tier list video and you're playing Draco Tail or whatever, and you're trying to, you're kind of a newer player trying to learn about what you should play, and everyone puts Dark Ruler in S tier. Well, guess what? You just got baited, right? Like, bro, you don't play Dark Ruler in Draco Tail. That doesn't make any sense. So I think the video itself is just so useless, and then you also have to like re-clarify any of the decisions that you're making. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight into the video, and I'm going to make all my points on each of these decks correlating to each of these breakers. Alright, y'all, so I added in a couple more sections here, which is all things can play and bad, which is 2 more tiers so that I can put some other cards that I genuinely don't think are that good at all, so that you should be playing in any of these decks. And then some cards are way too generic that you can put in everything. Obviously, I'm going to try to go in depth in a lot of the cards that need in-depth explanations that are actually played. For example, like Dark Ruler and Forbidden Droplet, which I think will be valuable anyway, because I think these cards have a different perspective going into the YCS Bologna format, which is going to be, I really like making this video because it's probably going to be a lot different from all the other videos that you guys have seen, and it's way more informative. But obviously for like the stupid stuff, I'm going to skip over, right? Like, for example, Santa Claus. I'm not going to spend even like a second on Santa Claus, right? So let's go ahead and get started with some of the basic cards. So first up is Engage. Obviously, if you're playing Yummy Pure, play this card. You can thrust for it. It's very good. All that stuff. Generic, gets your engine going. Next up is Metaltronus. Metaltronus, I think, is a card that specifically belongs in Yummy Mitsu, but I actually want to put it in bad. But if I were to put it in a place, it would definitely just only be Yummy Mitsu. It does not make sense to put it in any of the other categories. One of the main things that you can do with this card that makes it so, like, push the cards, up to the next level is the fact that you can, and people have been saying this like all the time, right? That you can hit Herald of the Arclight, summon your own Link Gravity controller, and go into your Mitsu combos, which is something you can't do with the other decks. Not only that, but you have to dedicate extra deck cards to your Draco Tail, Vanquish Soul, and Malice decks, which already most arguably are tight in the extra deck space already. So if I were to play this card, it would be in Yummy Mitsu, but I kind of want to put it's either bad or in Yummy Mitsu, but it's on the lower end of the board breakers that you should play because it's just not generic enough, right? Like, bro, like, you need to play Bartholion in the extra deck if you really want to play it. Then probably something from Malice as well, like a white binder. But at that point, it's like, dude, Yummy Mitsu is really tight in the extra deck. It's just way too specific for how the meta has been expanding as of late, right? Next up, Metaltronus. I would probably pick this card as a all-can-play card. Obviously, I wouldn't expect people to play it in Draco Tail that much, but in general, it's an all-can-play card. It's pretty solid against everything. I don't think it's the best card that you can play currently right now, but I don't want to say it's completely terrible. Obviously, there's going to be times where Lightning Storm goes crazy. It's just such a generic effect that it could go crazy at all times, but there's nothing really specific that you really want to hit. The main thing that I can only think of on top of my head is that it's okay against Malice, not even for Malice, but because they play Dimensional Fissure, which is something that you can get rid of, and also I guess like Pure Mitsu as well, right? But besides that, anything else, you're not really trying to hit anything else, or it's going to be traded with like an Omni Negate, such as Draco Tail Flame, or the Mitsu Trap, or Herald of the Arclight, right? So, whatever. Change of Heart, bad. I'll just skip over that. Pangertops, it's a card that I think if you were to play it, once again, would only be Draco Tail because it's a monster type of effect, and even sometimes Canine Vanquisher, more specifically Draco Tail. Not the best card in the world, but if it's a card that you were to play, I would definitely put it in Draco Tail. Book of Moon, not right now. Great Fever's Inscription, this card is pretty interesting. I would actually only try to play this card in Yummy because Yummy doesn't have, or it does, but it's less downsides as the other decks, right? So this card is pretty good actually, but like something that you should consider is that like you can't just throw it in Draco Tail. You use grave effects. You can't use it in Yummy Mitsu because the Mitsu cards activate in the grave. So a very strong effect, but very strong, specific towards Yummy Pier. And I don't think it's that bad of a card. I would actually give this card like a more solid, higher rating, something that you could definitely consider in your board breakers if you're playing Yummy Pier. Next up, Enemy Controller, not right now. Santa Claus, like I said, not right now. This thing, not right now. They're never making triple Liger, so no choice. I mean, no chance to even use this. This card, all you can play, it's talents. I'm not gonna talk about talents that much. It's just a random one of that you draw. It's, you know, like there's not much theory to go behind there. Chalice, not that great. Super Poly. This is something that I think is one of the main reasons why I actually decided to make this type of tier list. Is I think this card is really good in Malice specifically because of the way this deck plays, right? So what I mean by that is that the extra deck isn't as tight as the other type of decks, and it's a board breaker that it's a deck that can be supported by board breakers, right? So if you're able to use Super Poly to get rid of some of the things, just about half the board, the Malice engine itself is really good into half boards, right? Just if they try to get rid of your normal summon like Dormouse or Chessy Cat or whatever, just having an extra extender, March Hare, you know, Super Poly deal with that, and then a play and an extender, very, very strong sense in Malice. Mud Dragon's really good, and as so on and so forth. You can kind of play it in Draco Tail as well because it's like a fusion based theme, but I would say in terms of Draco Tail, I would lean more towards the monster mash type of strategies to like help your 5 manas be better and things like that. So if you were to play Super Poly, I would definitely play it in Malice. I think this card's absolutely insane, but don't play it in any other deck, right? And for the reasons I listed. Dark Ruler No More. This card's for sure going to be put in Yummy Mitsu. This is a Yummy Mitsu specific card. Now, specifically, one of the reasons was I actually wanted to make this video again, and I'm glad we're finally getting to this cards, is I want to talk about Dark Ruler and Droplet as a whole. Now, it's kind of a debate whether you should play Dark Ruler No More or Forbidden Droplet in Yummy Mitsu. Obviously, I do think these cards can only be played in these type of decks. Droplets can kind of be played in Malice for the same reason of Super Poly. So I think this card, but more specifically, I would say it's a Yummy Mitsu style type of card. And at the same time, the debate is that, like, you know, people have Herald of the Arclight and you're using Forbidden Droplet, you're not going to be able to use it that much. But Dark Ruler now is getting hit with the Mitsurugi trap. Dark Ruler was really good prior in Yummy Mitsu because a lot of people didn't main deck the Mitsurugi trap. But now people do. I think both these cards are pretty bad against them. But if you were to pick one, I think moving forward, is definitely Forbidden Droplet, because not only does it have effects against the Mirror Match, which is the deck that you want it to be good against, it also has really good applications against Draco Tail. Guys, if you use Dark Ruler No More against Draco Tail and you never played Draco Tail, the Draco Tail player is very happy with you using Dark Ruler. They're most likely not even going to activate Flame on it, and they're going to be happy that they're not dying this turn and you just went -1. The card is absolutely useless, but with Forbidden Droplet being able to dodge the traps, specifically Flame, is amazing. It's actually amazing, right? So like the fact that it can be used as cross matchup versus something that, like, you know, Dark Ruler being outdated due to the Mitsu trap being in the main deck. Definitely, if you guys are considering which board breaker to play in Yummy Mitsu or even Malice or things like that, I would put the Dark Rulers back into the binders and definitely play with Forbidden Droplet this weekend. It seems like a perfect setup for Droplet being very insane this weekend. So that's something that I would 100% would consider. And, you know, I think that could be very informative for you guys. Next up, this is useless. This is okay if you're playing against Lunalight. This, probably not right now, but it's whatever. Raigeki, whatever. This is just a random one of. Sure, if you have space in your side deck, plays random one of. Sure, this Fenrir, very, very strong actually, but like I said, very only good in Draco Tail, right? So if you're playing Draco Tail, play this card. Outs Retaliating Sea, just being a generic card to be able to search another monster to help you fuse again. on the same time of dealing Retaliating Seed. It just has so much synergy with the deck. But obviously don't play any other deck out there that has no Deem, right? Like, yeah, you're not getting Retaliating Seed playing any other decks. So what are we doing here? Evenly Match, this card is okay. I think most decks can play it, but I don't think it's that great right now. But I don't think it's bad either. It can definitely steal games at times, but definitely just not that good into this whole Herald of the Arclight, Mitsu Trap format. And even against Draco Tail, which originally I thought Evenly would be pretty decent against Draco Tail, but now with people playing Branded Draco Tail, which is kind of the main way people play it, with a DTL winning, with Branded Draco Tail as well, and you know, all the topic lists have been winning with it. They can make Sanctifier and just give you a monster. So if you say end of main battle, they'll just Sanctifier, give you something, which is already good for them. On top of that, it would just turn off your Evenly and you lost your battle phase. So let's not do that. Yeah, and then this, not right now, not right now. This, yeah, I think if your deck can play it, just play it. I think this is actually more specific for Yummy. I actually wouldn't play this card in any other deck, honestly. The only reason why you played it in Yummy is because you can thrust for 2 main cards, which Yummy plays. And if you're playing the Sulfur Cord deck, you can search for the Sulfur Cord card. Engage is a good one, and Obedience School, which are things that obviously the other decks don't play. But specifically in Yummy Pure, I would definitely put thrust in there. The other decks, probably not, but you could consider it as well, right? Ultimate Slayer, just not right now. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this entire video. I know it's a little bit different, but let me know what you guys think about the style of video. Let me see, you know, comment down below if you guys thought it was cool that I posted it this way. I think it's a lot more helpful, but that's gonna be it for this one, y'all. Catch y'all the next one, and peace.